Hi there and welcome to building a website yourself with Wix. We're going to take a live look at Wix, understand some of the principles around Wix, the pricing and the inclusions, that kind of thing. But the most important thing, we are going to do some live building of a website in Wix so you can actually go through the process with me to see just how simple it can be to build a website and what some of those pros and cons might be according to what your particular application of a website happens to be. I'm Dante St James. We're about to get underway. So why not? Let's go now. Let me just share my screen. I got a great quote here from Diana Ross, who's one of my favorite divas from the disco era of the 70s. You can't just sit there and wait for people to give you that golden dream. You've got to get out there and make it happen for yourself. And that's the principle behind platforms just like Wix. They give you the opportunity to go there and create your own website without having to engage a website professional to do that for you. And there's many of those systems, and I'll show you a few of them and what they are and what their pros and cons are as well during this particular call. This is not the right page. So I'm going to skip that one and just go to this. Is all about Business Station and the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions Program in conjunction with Business Station in WA, Regional Development Australia in Brisbane, and Treaty Business Consulting in the Northern Territory. You're going to be able to watch this a little bit later tonight. I'll load it up to YouTube. So just look for Business Station or look for myself, my name, Dante St James, and you'll be able to see that this particular presentation all over again, plus some like 70 other videos. There's tons and tons of them. And they're just my ones, not to mention all the ones from other presenters within the ASBAS Digital Solutions Program. A little of me, if you haven't come across me before, I've worked originally in medicine through, I did my studies through the University of Western Sydney in Sydney. University of New South Wales is where when I had my change of career. I went and studied marketing and business information systems, where I did my master's in 2016. Worked a lot with the Chartered Institute of Marketing, doing their diploma courses and doing a bunch of stuff from IT to business admin through TAFE New South Wales. I haven't actually lived in New South Wales since 2000. I just do everything remote because that's just kind of the courses I know. I also work with Facebook as a blueprint lead trainer, a digital marketing associate, media planning, media buying, creative strategy, and marketing science professional, as well as working with Google's Digital Springboard program and several government programs, including this one, the ASBAS Digital Solutions Program as well. So what is Wix? What exactly is it? What's this funny little thing with a funny little logo that's all about building your own website, and how much does it cost? And sort of, we're going to take a bit of a guided look through what those costs are and what they do include. So to understand Wix, you've got to understand the idea of the do-it-yourself website. So it starts off with what we call a domain name. So when you're building a usual website, you would buy a domain name. So you're handing out some cash for that. You got to buy your hosting, your web hosting, and some bit of cash for that. Your domain's usually at least 2 years for a .com.au and 1 year for a .com. Then you got to pay your hosting as well, which could be monthly or it could be 100% of the year up front. Then you've got to, maybe install WordPress. Once you've got WordPress in there, you either choose to do it yourself or get it done for you. That's DFY, by the way, done for you. So you got to choose which way you want to go with that. Either which way, you're paying to do stuff, your domain, your hosting, and maybe even paying someone to build the site for you. Hosted web platforms like Wix have a service that you pay for, and it usually includes all of those things. So you can buy a domain name through that service. They include the hosting with that service, all the updates, all the security, all the backups, all that sort of stuff. And then finally, you do it yourself. Now, of course, you can get someone else to do the website for you, and Wix doesn't stop you, but it's usually that thing that you'll do yourself because you don't actually need someone else to build the site for you, particularly after you see what this tutorial will be like and creating that for yourself. Other hosted web platforms quite like Wix include Squarespace, which is that spidery looking web, that black spidery thing. The big W there is for Weebly. That's another very common web platform. BigCommerce for e-commerce. Webflow is a very, very simple to use, very, very, I'd say it's a for dummies version, maybe a Wix. It's like a really, really simple one, but it is very limited. It doesn't do everything. GoDaddy has their own web builder built in. So if you've got your domain name booked through GoDaddy, you can get that too. Works out about $14.95 a month, about the same as Wix actually. WordPress has a hosted version. You can use it wordpress.com as opposed to the WordPress that you install in your own web hosting. Shopify is a self-hosted shopping site that you can build, and Duda is another system that's very good for building do-it-yourself websites that are not going to be super difficult to build. Although I'd say that Duda is more for agencies like myself who build them for other people, and then other people are able to upload to actually do things with those sites as well. So we're going to look specifically at Wix. And to look at Wix, we need to understand what the pros and cons of Wix actually are. Now, one of the great pros of Wix is there are literally hundreds of templates in there for dozens of industries. If you can, in the chat window, I get an idea of what you do. So Sandra's really clear. She's got Sandra or virtual assistant, but everyone else is in the room. Just let me know what it is that your business does. So just give me a little pitch of, name of the business, what the business does. Because what I'm going to do is look for some templates in Wix that actually reflect what you do. So you can get an idea of the kind of things that you're doing. So we'll open up a few different sites, build in some templates that show you what you can do with something that's just like your business as well. So thank you, Fitness Skincare. There's more of those coming in. So keep them coming in. Let us know what you do so I can actually do an example that will suit you as well. It's got a very easy to use editor with a bit of a side menu that's used for adding things like shopping carts, adding calendars, adding booking situations, adding forms, all those different things, or even blocks of information and blocks of content or text, anything like that gets added in there as well. Now, one of the big pros is that it is very well supported. There's lots of online help that you can look up to find out how to do stuff. Just because they've got 100 million users. Get that? I'll say it again. 100 million users. That's a lot of users on Wix. So what it means is there's a huge knowledge base of people who are able to add their experiences, I suppose, to the whole story. So they add their experiences to show that what they were able to do to fix things, as well as when the Wix staff go in and help answer those questions as well. And there is some support there too. So sometimes you have priority support depending upon the package you've bought, or you might just have the general 24/7 chat support where someone will be able to help you with some of those basics. Some of the downsides of Wix are that you can't switch to templates after you've gone live. So once you've chosen your template, you've built your site and you've published it, you cannot change that template again. It's all set in stone. With Wix too, you get a funny thing where not everything is necessarily included in the price you're paying. So for instance, if you're buying one of the lower packages, you may find that premium support is not included, or the shopping cart is not included, or particular plugins that you may want to do are not included. In fact, there is absolutely no package that Wix has that includes absolutely everything. So what it means is that sometimes you might, I guess, have to decide what it is you want to build your site with, the features you want to build into it, and then the kind of add-ons you might have to get. So that's something to bear in mind, that what you see as the monthly price or the annual price isn't necessarily what you're going to pay, because you may want to add on some extra stuff as well. So it's just like any service. The basics are free. The more premium stuff does cost, but then when you want to add lots of extra add-ons, then each of those is going to cost you a little bit as well. One of the big downsides is too that when you do go premium, so you're getting rid of the Wix branding on there, you're actually adding your own domain name, you have to pay that upfront for a whole year. So you're not paying, it may say $14.95 US a month, but you're actually paying $14.95 US a month for an entire year. So the basic package works out around about $110 Australian a year. So it's something to bear in mind, that it's not something you can sort of pick up and then drop off. You're committing for a whole year at least. Now, the good thing is it means that you're committed. So you're not going to like jump around and do shiny object stuff and go, oh, wonder what that one's like. Oh, wonder what that one's like. It commits you in. The bad news is that it also commits you in. You can't really get out of it. So think about it a lot before you go in there. Wix is a really good platform to learn on. Great platform for your first website, really is. But it does lock you into certain things when it comes into the paid version. So these paid versions can be a little confusing. For instance, I look at VIP and I go, at the moment they've actually got half price. So they got 50% off so per month for your first year. So don't be tricked by what it says there per month. It's actually a yearly thing. Oh, excuse me. So what you're actually going to pay is $13.50 a month for a year, all up front. So please bear that in mind when you see these prices. So even though they're half price, They're still for a year, and then next year that's going to go up to the full price. I'll put a star against the ones that are probably the ones you're going to end up using. So the unlimited for entrepreneurs and freelancers, this is going to be largely used. $7 a month US, so 712s or 84. So it's going to be around about so that nearly $100, $110 a month for the unlimited version, which is about what I thought it would be, about $110 a year for the unlimited version. Then when you look at their e-commerce plans, so there's a lot of different inclusions in here, but I've kind of just like burrowed it down to the basics of what you're probably going to want. You can start with these lower cost areas too, and then work your way up. For e-commerce, this is really confusing because it's you think that like, why is one 19, one's 18 and one's 14 when it's not really clear why that is? The reason is that the full suite includes a lot of payment plugins that this one doesn't. So for instance, if you're using something other than PayPal to accept payments, that's when it gets a bit tricky. In this unlimited one, just about everybody who does an e-commerce site really falls into that unlimited. So it means you've got unlimited things you can put through there, unlimited carts, unlimited sales, unlimited traffic. That's the best one for an e-commerce. So this is just for building a shop. So if you're not building a shop and you're just building a regular website for yourself, then this one here, these ones, the unlimited, is probably going to be a good one for you. Got that? So let's build a website in Wix. I'm just going to get rid of this and go into the actual Wix website. I'm going to shove my little image out of the road so I'm not looking at myself. So in we go to Wix. We're going to create a website we're proud of. Well, that's yet to be seen, I guess. So what I've got here, I've got an example from someone who's working with fitness skincare, another who's working with freelance work. So what we'll start off with the fitness skin and skincare. So we're going to get started. What it will now take me through is to sign in or sign up. So I do have an account with this. So I'll just log into my one to make it easier. And it's going to show me that the sites I've already got in here under this address. What I'm going to do is now create a new site. So under this new site, I'm going to choose what kind of site I want to build. So I'll look at beauty and wellness, events, music. So the closest thing I can find to fitness and skincare is probably beauty and wellness. Now, I would not let Wix ADI create a website for you. I think it actually gets it horribly, horribly wrong. I say here, create your website with the editor, and you start by choosing a template to then edit. So let's edit a template. So we pick out now a template that we like. Now, a lot of the templates, sort of lost my train of thought there. A lot of the templates are free, but some of them are premium as well. So what we're going to be primarily looking at is the ones that are free, because I think that there's enough free ones in there that you're going to be able to do pretty well. So let's look at maybe skincare. So we've got the healing touch. We can also type in templates, skincare. So there you go. We've got a whole bunch of things just especially for skincare. Now, some of these are going to be shops. So we can look at beauty care here is a shop, and you can preview them. So let me just go down here a bit further, see if I can find some more. So you got a beauty one here. It's got a bit of makeup, some facials, soft aesthetics. You can view what it looks like and then see a full demonstration of what the website looks like. So you can go, is this what I'm looking at? And you can go around it, click on it, see how it feels, see how it looks, go, yeah, I like that one. Not really my aesthetic though, because this is not really what I'm looking for. So I might go, okay, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to go back. And then you can also preview it on mobile. So you can see what it's going to look like on a mobile phone as well. So this is what your site's going to look like if you choose to use this template. So I'm going to close this one. We're not going to go that one. We'll look at another one. So it's got lots and lots of options. You can go down here and search through more. So here's even more of them. Santa Laura, what's this one? Looks like it might be cool. So it's a pregnancy one. So you get the idea. There's lots and lots of stuff in there. So organic skin and hair care. This one might be one that's really good for us to choose. So let's look at the demo of that one. And so it's got this beautiful layout, some beautiful artwork in the background as well, which you're allowed to use. You don't have to get rid of any of that. And you can, of course, replace any of these images with the images that you've got yourself. There we go on mobile. So if this is a site we think we're going to like, we're going to go edit this site and we're going to start creating it. Now, even if you start building on this, you can still change your mind later on and change to a very different layout if you like. The problem is that when you change the layout, all your work will be lost. So all the pages you created aren't transferable across to the new scheme or the new theme. It's going to carry across it's not going to carry across any of the work you've done. So while we're waiting for this to load, just bear in mind that we're now working in an editor. The minute we press publish, then we cannot change the template. We've actually just stuck with the template we've got. So what we're going to do along the way, rather than publish, we're just going to save. Now the save will save automatically, but it's also good for us to save along the way as well, just in case something goes wrong. So to take a walk around the editor, it breaks everything up into these blocks. So there's a header block where I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you might be able to see it a bit more clearly. Hopefully that's a little bit more clear. So the top is a header with your menu and your statements and your logo. Then you've got this area here, which is sort of like the hero image and the hero section. And then they go into the layout with the products themselves. Beautiful labeling and beautiful bottles. And over on the left, we've got all the things we can do with this particular layout. So let's say, for instance, we want to change some of the color combinations. This theme manager here allows us to change the color theme to one of these preset colors. So if I go, I don't really like all these greens and all that. I want to move away from that, and I want to go more sort of like the lavenders and skin tones and sort of red neutrals. So I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to select, so edit your theme colors. I want to change the theme. And then I can select the theme full of colors that I want to choose. Let's just say I want something a little bit brighter. So I might go maybe this one. So that's how it's changing all the colors in the background. This one is like a more bluey grays. So you can pick the one that really stands out to you. This one's a pretty flexible one. It's got lots of different options. So I'm a boy, so my choices are going to be probably a lot exactly the same as what yours might be. Let's just land on this one. So once I've done that, I can then also change the individual colors of them. So for instance, if I really want that to be a lot darker than what it is, so that really, really soft, powdery kind of pink, well, I can change that color through to something a bit different. So I go, okay, where is the color I'm looking for? I'm looking for the first color is gray, the second color there. So it's that third color maybe. It's just here. So at the moment it's using this color. I can change that up and then apply it. So then it will change the color where it occurs on the page. If this is the one, then I'm going to darken that one up a bit, apply it, and I'll change that on the page as well. So anything new I do will now have a different few sets of colors. Please don't get too caught up in your colors. It's better off to at least get everything built first, and then you can change the colors later. Now, I know I say that, and you won't. You will get caught up in the colors. It's natural. I'm not going to blame you for getting caught in the colors, but you can change the colors later. If I want to change this to a darker color, I can just double click on the element, and it gives me these options. It says, okay, I won't want to do all those. No, I want to customize the design, and I want to change the fill color. So it's this current smoky sort of dusty pink. I'm going to change it through to a much sort of more moody color. Well, maybe in that's quite nice, that coral. And now I've changed that color. So I can go anywhere I want on the page, double click on what I want to do, customize the design, and then use my fill colors to pick the colors I want. And there's all these preset ones there. Or I can choose one that really resonates with me. And you can choose more than one. You don't have to just do these colors. You can do the colors down the bottom. You can add more colors in as well. So you want a special color. If you've got colors that have been given to you by your graphic designer who's giving you a brand kit to use, then use those colors as well. You can enter in what they call the hex color, which is like CC, FFCC00 for me is like an amber yellow. It's one of the few colors I remember. And what it does, it allows you to then choose whatever that is. So if we go really bright yellow or FFCCCC, and it's sort of like a soft pinky kind of color. So you can add whatever colors you are and then add it to the actual, to the palette. So if I add that color in the palette, it adds it, and now it's in here where I can use it again and again. So that's changing colors. You can also change the opacity of that color. So if you're saying that this particular color is a little too strong, I want to just tone it down a bit. You just tone it down a bit. See how it's changed that color? Completely different. So it's going to be transparent to the color behind it, or it's going to blend in the color behind it. If the color behind it happens to be white, you'll notice how now it's a much lighter. So I make it darker, and we think, yeah, I like that color now. That color now looks good to me. Now, of course, your name is not Sophia, and you're not selling the power of nature. You're doing something else. So you may want to change yours to Stephanie. And then you just double click and then update the text of any item you want. And then you got to change to what you want it to be. Now, of course, you don't necessarily want this picture in the background of these flowers. So what we'll do is just find the place. So over here, it's actually, as I've moved around, it's got this change page background here. So I'm going to change page background and choose the background I want to have. So I can have a photo of someone playing tennis, some weird and wonderful patterns with milk in it. I can then look for other backgrounds that have maybe a video. So I have a moving ocean video. This is going to be quite cool because it's actually quite beautiful to have a really subtle video in the background, or something like a more subtle kind of background image like that. You can search for videos. So I go to video, it's now going to bring up a bunch of videos that I can find within there. Wix has its own stock photo library that you can use, or you can upload your own as well. So I want to upload an image from my directory, or you can go through various places like Dropbox, Google Photos, Flickr, or other places as well. They used to have a Canva plugin, but it didn't work very well. So it just was taken away eventually. I want to take this one. This is the photo I just grabbed before from another place, like from Unsplash. As that loads up, any moment now, I'm then able to use it. So if I select the one I want, then I can change the background to that. In this case, only videos can be chosen for this one because I was updating a video. If I wanted to update an image, just click on image, look at the images that are available to me. So there's quite a lot of them there, even some that may be regarded as skincare oriented. Change the background. And now my background is something else altogether. It's quite cute, actually. So a good question just came in from Pinked, is that if you choose a video, does it impact the loading time that much versus a picture? On most websites like WordPress websites, it would absolutely really vastly improve, like slow it down rather than having a picture. On Wix, their servers are optimized to a point where choosing a video, the video is being so optimized that you're not going to get that much of a difference. So I'm just going to use this video here, for instance. Oops. And then I'm going to save this page. So I'm not going to home test. So I'm not publishing it. I'm just saving it. And then I can preview what it looks like. So I'm not going to publish. I don't want to publish. Preview. And it's going to give me a more live look at what this particular website looks like. So it's going to play the video, which has just got a little bit of subtle movement. So wind on her sleeve. So it's not really a full video, but it's got a video effect. So this kind of video is great because it's not that big a video. So it's going to load really, really quickly. But if we were to use something else, let's say maybe a video that's got a lot more motion in it. So we want to click on here, change the background again, pick a video from their video library. So I'll choose a lovely Paradise Serenity. That's going to have a bit more going on with it. So this one may run a little bit slower. Let's preview it and see what it looks like. So really that's got a lot of their videos are really quite subtle. They don't have super amounts of movement. So they just have enough to give it a nice effect. And because of that, they've optimized those videos so they don't load too slowly. So I'm really liking that background. I think it looks amazing. So I'm just going to leave that one in place and go back to our editor. Now, of course, you don't necessarily want to have all these things sitting in the places where you want them to sit. So you might want to have this orb and all of its contents sitting to the side maybe, and having your name sitting over somewhere else. So what you might want to do is, if you grab this whole container box, so as you hover over something, it kind of gives you instructions. As I hover over this, it says it's text. I hover over this, it says it's text. As I hover over this, it's a container box. I can move that whole container full of information all at once. But if I was choosing just to move the name Stephanie, it will only move Stephanie. So what I want to do is make that a little bit bigger. And then I can make that text way, way bigger. Change my color to white. And then I can just move things around within my orb. You can hold down Shift and select with your mouse any sort of areas, and that'll be like selecting multiple things. So that line and the shop now, it groups them together, so I can grab them both together as long as I hold down Shift when I'm selecting that. So now I've got something a little bit different. So we've got essentially the same template. We've just messed with a few of the ideas, changed the color here and there, done all that sort of thing. Now it's given me, I've got a problem here that this word, I'm not really reading that very clearly. It's a little bit faded into the background of the image. So two things I can do to bring that forward a bit. I can go, okay, get some text ideas. I'll say, what do you want to do? So I'm going, okay, it's skincare. So let's say skincare store. It'll give me some ideas for the topic of the text on the page. But I don't really want that. What I'm looking for is design ideas for the text. So what I can do is edit the text and perhaps do things like put a background so I can highlight it and put some color in the background so it stands out like that. Although that doesn't look particularly great. Or I can use some effects. So those effects are things like shadows. So it's going to make things stand out that little bit more. So you get an idea of what they look like. Let's try that one. That actually looks gorgeous. That's like a very TikTok effect, or like the TikTok logo, really, not really TikTok, the videos. So it gives you an idea of some of the real nice design things you can do in there, just messing with it a little bit. Now, of course, you might go, well, I don't like any of these fonts. These fonts just don't suit me at all. So you can actually go into your site settings and change those things at a higher level. So you can go change those fonts all together. So if you want to do that, I think it's in the settings. Not in that one, not in that one. Where are you hiding? Some of these things I'm hiding different places where they weren't before. The other thing too is there is a right-click menu too. So that's one of the things that that a lot of this is like double click, and you can change this, but you can also do a lot of this by right-clicking. So right click, it gives me a contextual menu, and I can do things like change the design. So it gives me ideas for the design. So I go, oh, I like that circle actually. Rather than having a solid circle, I want to have a like one that I can do that with. And it goes, yeah, I like that. And then I can also change the color of it. So the fill color for that is white. So if I do that, it's going to fill it out white. And then I've also got the border, which is currently this black. I can change that to white. There you go. And now I've got a white one, and make that circle a bit wider. So every single design item in this site has options that you can change. So you can change anything to pretty much what you want it to look like. All you need to do is just pick, I guess, what your aesthetic is and what you think works really well for you. So now we've updated that header area. Notice how it moves over the background. The background stays, so that's got a parallax effect, which is always a really cool effect. And then we can change any of these other things in here. So I've got some text that I might want to edit to make it a different color, so it stands out again. Change the text, that's fine. I just want to change. So if you ever get there and it says change text, and it makes you want to change the actual text in there, so click on the paintbrush. The paintbrush usually indicates the design stuff. So this is a button, so I can change the button to something that's like one of these or one of these or one of these. So I can have my buttons stand out a bit more. maybe something like that. Or I can customize the design and change it to a button that suits me. So at the moment, the text is black. I might want to change that to white. And that's all the change I might want to make. Click out of there. And now I can actually read the button information in there. Now that's a really good front page. I got what I want to have on the front page. Let's just say I then want to add a new section to this site. So at the moment, it's got like what I call the junk drawer, which is like the bit at the bottom where all the stuff goes. It's not really that important, but you kind of have to have it on there. Things like privacy policies and whatnot. I want to add something else. So what I want to do is go over to my side menu and go down until I find a thing called add. Then I click on add. It's going to give me ideas of things I can add. So I can add a strip of content. So it's giving me some ideas here. So I want to do something to do with what my services are. So I can go down through my services and look at what the layouts look like and go, which one really looks like something I would want to put on there. Look at our team. I think the team one's quite nice. So to add that, it actually tells you if you hover on it, you add it, you just pick it up and drag it down to where you want on your screen. So it's just going to dump it in there like that. So it's put it then in that section and pushed all this bottom junk drawer down to the bottom. So you've added in a whole new section. I can move this container up so it gives a bit more room. And now I've got pictures of my team. Now with changing the design, this will allow me to replace certain things. I can maybe change the backgrounds of those different things. But probably the most important thing I need to do is change what's in each of one of these, because that's obviously not my team, that's their team. So as I click on this area, I get a thing called change the strip background and manage columns. So we've got column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. I can update what's in each of those columns by going manage columns. So let's go to my column that I want to change. This one I want to change. Great. Let's double click on it. I can either add a column or go to one of the other columns to do some work in that column. So it's going to select, let's say, column 1, right click, change the background to something else that sits behind it. So a very, very subtle change, that one. So you may not notice it because it's just in those little strips between them, but there is something in there. I might change that to a color, so make it stand out a bit more. There we go. So I've got that black now appearing in there, so it makes it just pop out a little bit more. And then by managing the columns, I'll say, okay, I want to change what's actually in these columns. So let's see what's in each of these columns that I can change. Now in here, I've got options like the background scroll effects and the layouts. So in the layouts at the moment, I can change how these different columns appear. So I can make it so the one on the right actually is much bigger. See how that changed that? Or I can make them just not quite the same, but very close to the same. Or I just take it back to where it was. Either way, I can then change the proportions by percentage. So I want to go maybe, at the moment it's 25, 25, 25, 25%. I also might want to add a little bit more spacing between each column. So everything in here is so customizable. I've now got bigger bars between each one. So I've added a bit more of that. So if I wanted to take out that background, I could take out that background as well, go none. And now it actually looks a bit more cohesive with the rest of the page. It's just sitting in over the top. Now in this strip, what I might want to do is play around a little bit with what the content is. So in that content, it's a bit hard to see it. I want to say, click on this column. And I want to change what's actually in the column. Now this is where things get a little bit tricky. So in here, I want to edit text. So if I go click on the column I want to edit, and then look at the thing that I want to edit. So edit the text. So I want to change that maybe to a different font. So there was that lovely font we were using before, Sacramento. Oh, that's terrible. What is going on with my typing? There we go. Finally got our team in there. So I'm using that same little font that I was using a bit earlier. We go on this one. If I go into the middle of it, I can then right click and then I can look at what's in there and do something with it. So in there, I want to change the column background. So just this column, the background in that is this guy's face. So I may want to change to someone else. So I'm going to look down through here to see if something suits me that I want to put in there. Maybe an image. I'm going to look for man. And I'm going to put in someone else's face, maybe this dapper gentleman. And suddenly my team changes to this guy. He doesn't look like he's really in skincare though, does he? And same with this one. I can change the column background. Oops. No, not the strip, the column. Select. Column back, here we go. And now I can change her as well. Or I may just want to have photos of other stuff in there. It doesn't have to be people. Videos can also go in there as well. There you go, cute doggo. Let's put a Yorkie in there. Every someone needs a dog. And then you've got your photos of your team in there. So you can actually load up yours. So if I go back to this column and I want to change this column background, select it. I can change that to anything I like. Upload it from images, upload media, look for something on my computer and go, maybe I want to put in, I don't really have a lot of photos. I've got a photo of myself. Not that that's going to be that exciting. Let's see that load up. And once you put that photo in, you can then change the background of that column to be a photo of you. There I am, right there. Also doesn't look like someone who's going to be doing much in the way of skincare, does it? So that's great. We've got this page into a state where we want to get it to. What's next? Well, you've got other pages in your website. You've got, see up here in all these items. Now you think this, you can't click on those because all that's going to do is help you to change your menu. What you want to do is go over to this menu here where you can switch the page that you're working on. So I'm going to save that first. The auto save is on, so it should save it for you. And we're going to select another page to work on. So we're going to work on the hair and skin page. So I'll bring up the design of that page, which we haven't optimized yet to what we want to do. So this particular one has a store built into it. So when you go to work with this site live, you're going to have to pay one of the premium rates. So one of those prices, let's see, what was it? The Business Unlimited, that will cover this particular template and all of its shopping features as well. So back to where we were. We can look at all these. Look, these are just blocks of content from your shop. So they're not going to change all that much, but we may want to just get rid of this picture because that's not really us. So we'll get rid of that one and we can pick up another photo or another element. So what I'm going to do is go to my add and I can look at all these things. There's decorative. So I go, what's decorative? There's icons, animals, logos, badges, nature. Might want to add something else, maybe a fern. So I'll pick up my fern, drop it in there. And then I got something which probably suits me just that little bit better. I can add lots of other ones too. Just remember though, when you add things, that these are getting added to your mobile layout as well. So if you go to this page and go, well, what does this look like on mobile? Up here, you can switch to mobile and actually edit the content that's on there and hide certain things from mobile. So here we have very much the same sort of thing. Got my little fern. It doesn't quite sit where I want it to sit. Just need to move it down a little bit. And then I can say, okay, this is what it now looks like on mobile phone. It goes down like a long stacked one. But I might say that, you know what, that fern, I don't really need that on the mobile. It's unnecessary. I want it on desktop, but not the mobile. I can click on this, and then this little hide thing, I can hide that element on mobile phones. So once I've saved this, I'm going to go back to my desktop, and in the desktop, it'll still be here. There you go. So it's still there on desktop, but it's not available on mobile. When I switch over, it disappears. So things that you want to have that are more decorative for your desktop version of your site, you can still have those on desktop, but then you can go and hide them from the mobile section. So it's not taking up lots of room and lots of precious loading time. Same thing goes for background images and all that sort of thing as well. You can hide certain elements from the mobile version, but have them still showing in your desktop version. So that's one of the most important things you're going to find, is that you're going to be able to do that. So you can go down and pretty much change anything you like. Now, this section here is like a bit of a universal section that's across everything on the site. So you can do that same too. You can change the background of it to something that suits you a bit more. I can have some watery background in there if I want. Let's see what that looks like when we preview it. So it's got the water moving at the bottom. They're very, very simple animations. They're not going to take a lot of loading time. That said, you don't want to have 15 videos and animations on each page. It'll just be messy and look kind of stupid. Like myself, I don't use any animations or videos on my site unless they're embedded YouTube things, but I'm not running a cosmetics or a skincare or a fitness-based website. So it might work for you. It might be something that you think is actually quite appropriate. Or you could put something like this, which is a bit more dynamic. Preview. And boom, you've got this moving sheet in the background. So that might be something you think is more appropriate for your look and your aesthetic. Let's go back to our editor. So if we're running a store and we're wanting to sell things, this particular template's great because it's already set things out for us. It's got sample products in there that we can replace, and it's got carts all working as well. In my store over here, which is kind of being this persistent thing kind of staring at us and wanting us to click on it, this is where you set up everything in your store. So let's click on there. So in your store, it gives you a bit of a guide and says you can do all these amazing things. You get started and you can now add products to it. So they've got some products already in there and you can add your own and then delete all their sample ones. You can add your payment methods. So in the payment methods, there's things like, now these add-ons, depending on what they are, the free ones are generally the most common. So things like Stripe and PayPal, accepting credit cards and PayPal directly through it. One thing they do have is Afterpay, but the problem there is that not all stores can use Afterpay because of the kind of things that they're selling. So yours might, in the case of skincare, it probably will. Fitness wear, it definitely will. But if you're trying to sell art, for instance, Afterpay need to approve each one of those things as well. Lay-by is a bit like is another thing that's a bit like Afterpay, where you buy it now, but you pay it later in 6 interest-free installments. You may just have to check though to make sure that all of these are available in Australia. Some of them won't be. Or you can use, accepting cash or something like that. Or if you want to have people transfer the funds to your bank account, that kind of thing. So it does have all these. You will need a PayPal account. And with the credit card payments, this is through Wix's own service. And there's different payment providers they will use as well. So sometimes Stripe, I don't know that Square is available on here, but if Square is, it's great. It's a lot cheaper, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to work with it's pretty much going to work with PayPal and Stripe as the provider from the last time I used the store on Wix as well. So once you've selected all that, then you can go, okay, I want to then now add some products or define my shipping. So you can start to define what is it, a flat rate for shipping or across Australia? Do you only offer shipping within Australia? You can set all those kind of policies in there. And then you can add elements from your store into your page here. So if even I was to get rid of all this from the page, all disappeared, and I go, I want to add some elements from my store. I can go here, add store elements. I can have a product gallery, a slider of products, related products, a widget of just one product if I've got one, or a nice big wide thing that's got this product. So I'm going to put that in because it's actually quite attractive. In it goes. Let it fill up the space a bit more. So I've got no products in there at the moment, so it's not going to look particularly great. I can double click on that and I can go and choose the product. So this one here we'll choose. And now it has a product in there. So if I just wanted to highlight just one product, or if you're only selling one product, this could be really valuable for you. Again, we can replace any of these decorative elements and replace them with what we want to add. Add decorative, look for something that's going to suit us. Some cool characters you can add. arrows, basic shapes. Maybe we can add something that's like a flourishy line of some sort. As you can see, there's lots and lots and lots of choices. And you can even look at more, like they're not all of them. There's entire libraries for them. So not all these are going to be appropriate, of course. We'll just look for one that does fit us. I don't think anyone's looking at fitness and skincare. They want to have a whale on their page. I might pick out this little plant here, add it to my page. And then suddenly I've got a different little element in there to play with. I can put that around my fragrances word. So little flourishes like that can just make a nice little difference to your site. And then I can add more things from my store. Now you may have seen that this start blogging popped up. So that's for on your blogging page. So let's just say I'm finished now with this fragrances page. And now I'm going to go down to a new page called my blog. Now you can see there's no thing on there called blog. So what I want to do is create a page that is my blog. So let's go to manage pages down the bottom. And then we're going to add in a new page. So we've got store pages, all those sort of things. I don't want to add one of those. I don't want to sign up and log in. No, nothing like that. No member pages, no page transitions, nothing like that. I want to go to my site menu. Here's all the menu items I've already got. I'm going to add a page. Add page. And I'm going to call this blog. Done. So what this has done now is created a brand new page. It's nice and fresh. It's still got that universal footer. It's still got the universal header on it. And I can add elements of my own. So what I might add in here is add, and I'll look for what I'm trying to look for is blog. So I'm going to search in here and say blog. So I'm looking for easy blog, Wix blog is what I want. So I play my Wix blog and it opens up the Wix App Market. Now, usually things that are by Wix are free. So this particular one is free. What it is giving me layouts for a blog page. So I'm going to add that to the site. It's going to say, yeah, I'm adding that in the marketplace. Now there's some free ones. And there's a lot of paid things in there as well. Most of the things you're going to do are free. This one's free, for instance. And it adds in my blog as a layout on this page. And mind you, I haven't got any blog items in there. It's just picked up one that I've got. It's just like some pretend ones. And it's already done a layout that sort of matches the look and feel of the website I'm in. What I might want to do though, is make some changes to that to make it lay out a bit more. So I can either manage the posts or I can look at my settings. My blog, it'll tell me how many that I want to display on here. So I've got a few on there at the moment. I can then go and create a new post, manage the posts that I've already got, or I might want to do some display or layout changes. So my display, do I want my name in there? Not really. Do I want the publish date? Yeah, that's all right. I don't mind having that. Do I count the likes and all that? Probably not. Comments, I don't really want comments. They're just dangerous. But I do want that excerpt and I do want that title in there. So I'm going to leave them there. And the menu, so when I say menu, there's a menu at the top which says all posts at the moment. I can take that off. So then it's not, I don't want a menu for the blog. I just want my main menu. And it pushes everything up. So it's now sitting nice and even. I can change some of the design aspects of this. So I click in here and I can like right click and look at my settings again. And in my blog, I can look at now the display layout. I can look at design. In the design, I can go, okay, let's see. I've got the posts in there. So I want to change what they look like. So the title at the moment is this black color. That's all right. The description, style and color, that's kind of all right. There's a border around it. I don't know if I necessarily want a border around everything. So if I can just pull that back, it'll show a bit of a border around different elements. And then the post background is this color. So I might want to change that to something different, like orange, for instance. Probably not orange, actually. This light dusty pink's quite cute, though. And then the border width at the moment is set to 1 pixel. If I don't want any border, I can take that away. And now it's just a lot softer and a lot more subtle. So let's just say I'm happy with my blog. I can dismiss that, save it, and preview it. And let's have a look what it looks like. And we've got a nice little page. Back to editor, got a great question here as well. I've always wondered how the contact form works. Do the queries go straight to your email inbox or just show up somewhere in Wix? Good question. They actually show up in an inbox within Wix. So if I say, for instance, I go to another page, which is my contact page. So in here, these messages here, I think is what you're talking about. They're going to go into your Wix inbox. So the Wix inbox will also be connected through to your the email address that you use to sign up to Wix. And you can also tell it to send that notification through to other places as well. But ideally, you want to sort of reply to this stuff through your what's my words? I'm losing my words. You want to reply to this through Wix as well. Otherwise, you can use third-party services like JotForm, or many of the other sort of external form accounts and form providers, even like Typeform, all those kind of guys, and embed one of their forms in it so it goes straight to your email inbox rather than going through Wix. But these ones do go through Wix. Wix inbox is through, through your settings. It's like you get a mailbox you're connected to, but it's usually right back out at the top of the site in your account. So I go back, look at my sites. Got so many things open at the same time. And then I can look in my account and I can look in my mailboxes. And this is where I can book mailboxes through G Suite or connect things through to, or what they call Google Workspace. So you can connect those through. But there is an inbox here. I just have not set it up so I can get those messages yet. Let's go back into our site. Here we go. This is the screen I wanted. So in here is where you're going to see those come through. So you go down here. This is all your basics, like what your products are, the orders that have come through from the store, the blog and what's happened with the blog and adding things to the blog. And then what is called customer management. So this is where you're going to get those messages from your form submissions. Your inbox is going to have all that sort of stuff. It's got a built-in customer relationship management system. You can turn on your desktop notifications, so that will tell you through your browser that you've got messages, which is actually probably a really smart way to do it, because then it'll prompt you to log into Wix to get those messages out. But you can also set some automations in place that say, I want to make sure that that email goes to my mailbox, not just to Wix, because I'm not always going to spot things in Wix. Another great question that came out too was with the shop, can you link them to your Facebook and Instagram shop? So look, it's a bit of a yes and no. Wix shops don't automatically feed through to Facebook and Instagram shops. At the moment, it's only Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, which is in WordPress, but the Wix shop doesn't automatically do it. So there's no plugin that says automatically export my shop items from Wix and import them into Facebook and Instagram shopping. You can still individually create those products and link through to them. So for instance, when you're creating a Facebook shop, instead of having it so it automatically checks out through Facebook and then connects through to your payment provider, because you're not using an internal payment provider, you're using an external payment provider, like Shopify and BigCommerce, they've got their own ones built in. It doesn't allow you to do that directly through. So you would have to then go click the button to view the product, and it would then be a button that pushes through Facebook or Instagram to go through to your website. So you won't be able to tag products directly through to this website straight away. You would need to then manually create those in the what am I thinking about? In Facebook and Instagram, sorry. It's been a long day, hasn't it? Very long day to be learning so much stuff. So hopefully that answers your question about it. And to give you a really rough idea in these last few minutes about how to get some more stuff out of Wix, I would say go and explore what is called the Wix Academy. Now, the Wix Academy has everything you could possibly learn about using the Wix platform. It's got training courses, a library full of stuff that can go and look at how to do certain things. So how you can build your own social network, for instance, or how you can build really good landing pages in there. There's examples of people who've done really, really well on Wix, and this is free for you to use. So you can go into the forum, you can go into their training academy. As long as you're a Wix customer, that will be free for you. And you can then go and learn all the stuff that's in there. So you can, if you really want to learn about coding, you can learn about coding, but I don't think any of us really want to learn about that. That's what we're using Wix. We're trying to avoid all that. But it gives you, ideas for how to build better stuff, and then gives you some basic answers on how to use Wix in a much more efficient and much more powerful way. So when it comes to these web builders, for me, Wix is probably the one that is the most mature and the one that seems to, I guess, answer more questions, and it's in something that makes a lot of sense. So you're editing everything in your window, and all your different tools are over on the left. You go and you select something in the menu and you start working on that page. You want to add a new page, you've got to go into the menus to create that new page. So it's a very it is as simple as you can make it, because basically you're choosing one of these templates to do most of this for you. Get to know all these items over here to know what you do and don't have access to. You can change your background, you can add different elements. Now we're going to look at decorative things. There's lots of things. There's contact forms, there's embeds, so you can embed things in for other sites like your Calendly calendar, or your Google Forms, or you can embed in a YouTube video as well. There's a content manager, which allows you to set up like collections of content if you want to do that. Your blog tools, you can set up more items in a store, take bookings, which is also real on this there. Now, the difference is though, the bookings will only allow you to collect payments if you do have a paid subscription plan. So you can add subscription plans to your website. So if you want to have a private area of your website for people to get your course, a private area of your website to view your exclusive videos, you can have a private area of your website that's only visible to people who are logged in and have paid a subscription or a membership. So the more things you add on, the more they're going to cost. So some things are going to cost you an extra $2 a month. Others are going to cost you an extra $10 a month. So as you work that up, just understand that these things are going to build up and build up and build up and build up and all that. Great question about asking about reviews. Can you import your previous website reviews into Wix? So if you've all got them in a place like, I don't know, Squarespace, or you built it in another place like, I'm thinking of, are you using a specific tool to use your reviews, or you just put them into your website? Like you've just put them in there yourself. You just put them in yourself. You're going to have to, if they're on Shopify. So I'm not sure how the Shopify reviews work, but you may have to, you won't be able to export those from Shopify. You'll need to actually go into Wix and manually type out those particular reviews, which the danger is that you're not getting a real live review, but there's no way to actually pull those out of Shopify and then import them into another system, which is one of the ways, I guess, that Shopify and BigCommerce and WooCommerce, they try to keep you onto their platforms and not go to something like Wix, because that's a competitor to them. So you can look at everything from gallery layouts, interactive layouts for like little slideshows, things like that. Add video, music, lists and grids, so lists of different options and different packages. You can look at pricing, all those sort of things, and even add in like little social media icons, or things like your Facebook like box, which personally, I don't think you should be adding that to your Facebook page at all, to your website at all. But you can add lots of different things. So you can add, the only thing that don't really do very well in Wix is integrations with Instagram. So Instagram is something which does integrate much, much better with things like Squarespace websites, and also through WordPress websites have some really great plugins to display beautiful Instagram galleries as well. So I know a lot of you are probably not going to want to update photos on your website. You'd rather update them through Instagram and have them show on your website as well. So Wix is probably not the best one for that, although there are some embeddable galleries you can develop through third-party products for displaying your Instagram stuff, and you can embed those into this website, but there's no native way to do that through Wix. It prefers you to do the photos directly and natively in the Wix platform itself. So I'm hoping that you got something out of this and had a nice little introduction to how Wix kind of works, and the layout of how it works, and just the pure, the power of how many different templates and themes they actually do have. If you'd like to, if you give it a go. Just honestly, just sign up for a free account on Wix and play until you get the sort of layout you're looking for. And if there's things you get stuck on, you can always grab hold of me, or there's many others of us on the ASBAS Digital Solutions advisory list who can help you out with getting sort of past those problem points of where you get to in Wix, or any other websites as well. So please reach out to me if you'd like to, through this email address or through LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I can answer all sorts of questions through those. Big kind though. It does get a little bit busy in my inboxes sometimes after these webinars, but thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a great night, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your businesses to work on your businesses. It's a really important thing to do. Have a great night and a great week as well.